Hello my dear students, welcome to Chakri Science Academy. In today's session we have come up with very important competency based questions. These questions are sure going to be in your board exam. So today we are targeting the chapter acid base and salts. In the last video we have discussed such type of questions from the chapter chemical reactions and equations. If you haven't watched it yet, you can find the link in the description box below. So in the first question it is telling when the electricity is passed through common salt solution NaOH is produced along with two gases, that is X and Y. Now the hint they have given for X is it burns with a pop sound, whereas Y is used for disinfecting drinking water. So based on the given information, let's write a flowchart for this type of questions. So first it says we have taken a NaCl solution, that is we also call it as a brine solution. Now what will happen when you pass the electricity? So it says it produces NaOH plus two gases, that is X and Y. Now we know this reaction is a chloralkali process which is used to manufacture NaOH, and we know what this X and Y could be. So it clearly says X burns with the pop sound, we know it's hydrogen gas, and the Y, it is going to be a chlorine gas because that is used in the disinfecting of water. And now it is very important whenever you write a reaction in the exam, you must balance it. Okay, so let's balance this equation 2NaCl, 2H2O, and it will be 2NaOH. Now you can see the reaction is balanced. So the question is asking, I identify the X and Y, we have got it. Second, give the chemical equation, we have got it. A balanced equation, very important, whether they say or not, you have to balance the equation. Third, state the reaction of X and Y with the Slake line. It means the chlorine gas when it reacts with Slake line, that is calcium hydroxide. So what do we get? So this reaction is used for manufacturing of bleaching powder. So we will get calcium oxychloride. So the answer is CaOCl2. It's called bleaching powder. And we also call it as chemically, it's called as calcium oxychloride along with formation of H2O. Remember, you have to check the reaction is balanced or not. In this case, it's already balanced, so we are going to touch it. Now, let's go to the next question. So in the third question, it says dry pellets of base X, when it is kept in open, it absorbs the moisture and it turns sticky. Also, it says the compound is also formed by chloralkali process. So we know there is only one base is formed in the chloralkali process, that is NaOH. That is NaOH. Now, NaOH has a property of deliquescence. So it has a property of deliquescence, due to which it is able to absorb the moisture from the atmosphere and it turns sticky. It loses the crystalline nature and it forms a solution. Remember, there are other salts who are able to absorb the moisture but they don't form the solution. We call them hygroscopy, such as NaCl or a sugar, which you will easily find it in the kitchen during rainy season. It is sticky when it is exposed in the air because of its hygroscopic nature. But remember, they don't form the solution. But acid or a base are deliquescent because they are forming a solution. So keep that in mind. Now let's read the question more. It says write a chemical name and a formula of the X. So we know NaOH is called as caustic soda and sodium hydroxide. Formula is already written. Why it's called caustic soda? Because it is corrosive to the skin. Just like how the acids are corrosive, they are very strong bases. They are equally corrosive. If they are exposed to the skin, they can cause severe blisters. That's why we call them caustic. Caustic means corrosive. Now the question is says describe the chloralkali process with a balanced equation. So we know when we take a brine solution which is NaCl plus H2O, and when we pass the electricity, we get NaOH along with a hydrogen gas and a chlorine gas. Because of NaOH and chlorine is produced, it's called chloralkali. Alkali is the NaOH and chlor is the chlorine. Now, now let's, very important, we have to balance the equation. So 2NaCl plus 2H2O gives 2NaOH. Now the next question is saying, name the type of reaction that occurs when X is treated with dilute hydrochloric acid. So this is our X. So now when NaOH is treated with HCl, we know it's an acid-base reaction. We call it as neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction. So we know what do we get in acid-base? You will have a salt and water formation. Why it's called neutralization reaction? Because it produces a neutral substance, that is water, H2O. And Moreover, you have to remember here one important thing, the reaction must be balanced. So you can see it's already balanced, so we'll leave it as it is. Now, one more question they are asking, while diluting the acid, why it is recommended that acid should be diluted to water, not the water to the acid? Now, generally when we talk about dilution, what do we understand? We have grown up seeing our milkmen, how they dilute the milk. So basically they add a lot of water in the milk. So that is why how we think to dilute the acid or a base, we do the same thing. We add the water on it, but it's very dangerous. It's a wrong method. We do opposite. We actually add the acid on the water drop by drop with a constant stirring. And why it is recommended? Because remember, the acid has a high affinity for the water. So when you are adding the acid on the water drop by drop, stirring needs to be there because it's highly exothermic. And if you do the opposite, then because of its highly exothermic nature, it can explode, it can break your apparatus, and also it will spill out the acid, which can result in an accident and can cause severe injury. So that is why it is recommended that you add drop by drop acid on the water. So it should not explode. The amount of heat should be controlled, and stirring is very, very important. So now let's see the next question, guys. So in the fourth question, it says there is a limestone, we are heating it, and it forms a substance X along with CO2 gas. Now on that substance X, when we add H2O, it forms something Y. Question says identify X and Y. So we know limestone formula is CaCO3, and when you heat it, when you do the thermal decomposition of limestone, it produces calcium oxide, CaO along with CO2. Now when you add the water on the CaO, it forms a slag lime, CaOH whole twice. All right. Now, also it says identify the correct option from the table which represents the type of reaction. So in the step one, you are taking up the heat. That means it must be endothermic. In the step two, remember, when you add water on CaO, you can go to your panwala who makes tuna, right? We call it as tuna. And you will see it is highly exothermic. It starts boiling. So it will be exothermic, the second step. So which option says first endothermic, then exothermic? Option number C. You can see in the C option, it says the first is endothermic, it takes up the heat. Second one, this reaction causes the boiling of the mixture of the solution, and it is due to highly exothermic nature. So answer is C option, exothermic. So let's see the fifth question now. So in the last question, it says there is a salt which is commonly used in bakery products. On heating, it gets converted into another salt, that is B, which is used for the removal of hardness, and the gas C is evolved. The gas C when passed through lime water it turns in milky. Identify A, B and C. So I'm very sure you know which gas they're talking about and what is the salt which is used in bakery products. So I leave up to you. You have to answer this in the comment box below, and keep following Checklist Science Academy for more such videos. Bye bye for now.